In the quiet streets of a small city named Boston, a child was born. His family was poor, but their poverty was filled with warmth and love. It was the year 1706, and the child was named Benjamin Franklin. His father, Josiah Franklin, was a humble candlemaker, a simple craftsman trying to provide for his large family of 17 children. Their house was small, their food plain, but one thing in that little home was infinite hope, especially in the eyes of the young boy who would one day change the course of history. From an early age, Benjamin showed an unusual curiosity about the world. His eyes gleamed, not with mischief, but with wonder. He asked endless questions. Why is the sky blue? How are clouds formed? Why does fire burn? His father would often smile and say, "Son, your questions have no end." And Benjamin would laugh, but in his heart, he made a silent vow. One day I will find the answers myself. Poverty cut short Benjamin's formal education. He was sent to school at the age of 8, but after only 2 years, his father could no longer afford the fees. For Benjamin, it was a heartbreaking moment. But he did not give up. He began helping his older brother James Franklin, who owned a small printing press. Surrounded by ink, paper, and books, Benjamin found a new kind of classroom, the workshop of knowledge itself. By day, he worked. By night, he read. His hands were stained with ink, but his mind was rich with thought. Books became his dearest friends. He borrowed them, begged for them, sometimes even read them secretly. Through reading, he taught himself to write, and soon his words began to carry the same power and honesty that later made him one of the most respected thinkers of his time. At the age of 12, Benjamin became his brother's apprentice in the printing shop. The work was hard and the discipline strict, but within that disciplined boy burned the heart of a writer. He wanted to publish his own articles in his brother's newspaper, yet James refused. So Benjamin devised a clever plan. Under the pen name Mrs. Silence Dogood, he began secretly slipping his writings under the print shop door at night. These letters, written as if by a wise woman, were witty, sharp, and full of insight. The readers loved them, unaware that their favorite columnist was actually a teenage boy. When the truth came out, James was furious. The two brothers quarreled, and Benjamin finally decided to leave. He was still a boy, but a boy who dared to follow his dreams. At 17, Benjamin Franklin left home with a small bundle of clothes and a few coins in his pocket. He had no destination, no friends, no plan, only determination. He traveled from Boston to Philadelphia, hungry and tired, but hopeful. When he entered the marketplace of Philadelphia for the first time, he was carrying a loaf of bread. His clothes were dirty, and his pockets were nearly empty. People laughed at his ragged appearance, but no one knew that this very boy would one day become one of the founding fathers of America. In Philadelphia, Benjamin found a job at a local printing house. His honesty and diligence quickly won the trust of his employers. He worked tirelessly during the day and studied late into the night. He lived simply, ate frugally, but invested every spare coin in books. Over time, he opened his own printing press and launched a newspaper called the Pennsylvania Gazette. It wasn't just a paper, it was a voice. Franklin used it to educate, to inspire, and to awaken his fellow citizens. He wrote, "Greater than empty pockets never made a man poor. Only an empty head and an empty heart can do that." His newspaper became one of the most influential in the colonies, and Benjamin's reputation grew. When Franklin earned money, he did not hoard it. He used it for the betterment of society. He founded America's first public library so that knowledge would be free for all. He organized the first fire department, helped establish a hospital, and later founded the University of Pennsylvania. All of this he achieved not through government authority, but through community effort. He firmly believed that a society advances not by the power of rulers, but by the sense of responsibility in its citizens. Franklin's curiosity never rested. He studied weather, electricity, and the mysteries of nature. One stormy day, he and his son launched a kite into the thunderous sky. Attached to the kite's string was a metal key. When lightning struck, the key sparked, and in that flash, Franklin proved something extraordinary. Lightning was not a divine force. It was electricity. This discovery changed the world. From this experiment came the invention of the lightning rod, which protected buildings from destructive strikes. Franklin became a global figure in science, yet he remained humble and selfless. He said, "True knowledge is that which benefits humanity." He refused to patent his inventions, saying they were gifts for mankind, not tools for profit. Franklin's pen was as powerful as his experiments. He published a yearly pamphlet called Poor Richard's Almanac, filled with witty sayings and moral lessons about hard work, honesty, and humility. Some of his timeless words include, "Lost time is never found again." "Industry is the key that unlocks the door to success." "Honesty is the best policy." "He that cannot obey himself will be commanded by others." These sayings became proverbs across America, guiding generations long after his death. As time passed, discontent with British rule grew among the American colonies. Franklin, now a respected public figure, became deeply involved in the movement for independence. He used his writing and intellect to advocate for liberty and justice. When the Declaration of Independence was drafted in 1776, Benjamin Franklin's signature stood proudly among those of Jefferson, Adams, and other founders. Though elderly and frail, his spirit burned bright. He famously said, "We must all hang together, or most assuredly, we shall all hang separately." It was a call for unity, courage, and sacrifice, a message that still echoes in the heart of freedom. During the Revolutionary War, Franklin was sent to France as a diplomat to gain support for the American cause. He arrived in plain, modest clothes, but his wisdom, humor, and character captivated the French court. The people adored him. They called him the prophet of wisdom. Through his diplomacy, France agreed to support America. That alliance changed the course of the war and secured victory for the new nation. Franklin's calm intellect and moral authority had achieved what armies alone could not. After the war, Franklin returned to Philadelphia. He was now old and often ill, yet he continued to serve his people. He campaigned against slavery, promoted education, and encouraged moral reform. He often told young people, "Life is short, but within its short span, a man can achieve greatness if he chooses honesty, diligence, and learning as his companions." In 1790, at the age of 84, Benjamin Franklin passed away peacefully. Tens of thousands filled the streets to honor him. A newspaper wrote, "Today, knowledge, liberty, and humanity have lost their truest friend."